This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for Monday, November 4, 2024. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, a group of Guyanese and Brazilian men were robbed and abducted in the Deep South Rupununi. The crucial Stanleytown Bridge has been repaired, but a new structure is being designed.
It's temporary. We'll have to build a new bridge.
Essequibo, the Cinderella county, continues to focus on farming, but is embracing tourism more. And in sport, medal-winning Guyanese Briton John creates history with Senior Caribbean Cycling Championship, and Santa Rosa Secondary crowned Courts Pee Wee Football Champions 2024. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. We're glad you can join us. First up, a group of Guyanese and Brazilians were robbed, abducted, and later released by a group of armed men suspected to be Brazilians at the Marudi Deep South Rupununi Region 9. It was initially reported that the men were robbed of 1 kilogram of raw gold worth $14 million, $892,000 cash, and other valuables. 2 black Glock 17 pistols, 2 yellow metal rings, and a Movado watch valued at $140,000 were also taken. Subsequently, one of the victims withdrew claims that $14 million worth of raw gold was stolen. The newsroom understands that the men were approached by the suspects, who were dressed in camouflage clothing along with bulletproof vests. The victims were ordered to exit the 2 pickups they were in, and they were placed to lay on the ground face down. The suspects then began to discharge rounds and proceeded to relieve them of their valuables. After committing the crime, the suspects ordered the victims to re-enter their vehicles and held them hostage. They proceeded with them to Baishanzung village, South Rupununi. Upon arrival at the village, the suspects ordered the victims to accompany them by foot across an illegal crossing into Brazil, then ordered them to run back into Guyana. A joint services team was deployed to the area as the investigation continues and in an effort to locate the suspects. No arrests has yet been made. We tell you now that emergency works on the Stanleytown Bridge, west bank of the Demerara, were completed early Monday morning, and traffic flow has resumed as per normal. Since then, all vehicles up to those weighing 60 tons were allowed to use the road link. In a statement on Sunday, the Ministry of Public Works announced that the Stanleytown Bridge will be closed for 3 hours from 2300 hours on Sunday to 2 hours on Monday. However, Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel told the newsroom on Monday that these much-needed repairs are only a temporary fix.
As of 3:30 this morning, traffic was flowing across the Stanleytown Bridge. The trucks, vehicles, light vehicles, everything up to 60 tons allowed. We built an entire steel structure that's reached from one abutment to the other abutment so that the pressure would not be on the current slabs that are there that were broken. It's to ensure the integrity of the bridge while traffic continues to proceed. It's temporary. We'll have to build a new bridge. The ministry is now designing a new bridge which will suit the future needs of that corridor, which will include possibly a 4-lane bridge.
Guyana is poised to become a regional transportation hub, and the Public Works Minister Juan Edgel said the Eugene F. Correa International Airport at Ogle, East Coast Demerara, will be expanded. Edgel, speaking ahead of Caribbean Airlines' inaugural direct flight between Suriname and Guyana on Sunday, highlighted that the current administration is positioning Guyana as a transportation hub. Consequently, Edgel said that key linkages must be expanded and improved.
One of the things that we have to do is to create more space. They've already submitted their development plans for what is going to take place here at Ogle. We will need more seating accommodation for outgoing passengers. We need more duty-free options for people to be able to buy here, so we have to be able to create space. We need possibly an executive lounge to facilitate executive travel out of Ogle, because more executive jets are now landing at Ogle. And eventually, we have to see a bigger runway or a longer runway that we could have takeoffs of bigger aircrafts. So the overall plan of development, this provides yet another threader or another pillar that we can say we are building blocks. We are building on this, we're building on this, we're building on this. So we look forward for Terminal B at Chedijagan International Airport, which we can accommodate. We expect the long hauls. We're still negotiating. We're still talking to a number of companies.
Once celebrated primarily for its agricultural contributions, the Essequibo coast, affectionately dubbed Cinderella County, is transforming into a burgeoning tourism hotspot. The shift was highlighted during the launch of Tourism Awareness Month 2024 at the picturesque Mainstay Lake, where regional officials and community members gathered to embrace a new vision for economic growth. On the Essequibo coast, where fields of green stretch to the horizon, a transformation is underway. Once known for its bountiful farmlands, the Cinderella County is on the brink of becoming a tourism gem.
Tourism, of course, has the potential for great economic growth. In Region 2, we're predominantly agriculture-based, and we're accustomed to one way of life. And I'm happy that our region is transforming, and we will be focusing a lot on tourism.
As we travel up to main cities, the journey seems so seamless. You know, a little waiting time. The boat captain was very pleasant. The driver was very accommodating. And I always say that I think the level of hospitality in Region 2 is a bit more heightened than other parts, let me say it like that.
As momentum builds for the tourism on the Essequibo coast, a month of activities awaits. Workshops, community events, and training sessions promise to engage locals and visitors alike.
And then we did a massive outreach at one of the schools, and we registered over 300 persons that wanted to sign up for tourism training. And I must say that several trainings have already been executed, and many more are going to be executed in the coming weeks. And that's the investment we are making at the ministry, at the Guyana Tourism Authority, for Region 2 and for all regions within the country, so that when visitors come to Region 2 and to Guyana, they can have the best experience.
With the right support and a shared vision, Essequibo is not just dreaming of its potential. It's on the path to realizing it one step at a time.
The hotel industry is small in the region, but we have more hotels coming on board because many weekends we're fully booked in Region 2.
For the newsroom, Kurt Campbell. When the newsroom returns, we tell you about the new direct flight between Guyana and Suriname and the crucial focus of the 2025 Energy Conference. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. The Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance could support the establishment of a new Human Rights Academy, as there seems to be much interest in learning about human rights. This was highlighted by the Subject Minister Gil Teixeira on Saturday when 162 persons graduated from the government's International Human Rights Law Certificate course. The program, facilitated by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, aimed to educate Guyanese on human rights, international rights and conventions, in Guyana's constitution and laws. And Minister Teixeira said individuals in the diaspora and even those in other Caribbean countries want to benefit from this course.
Maybe in the future, maybe not in the long future, that maybe we need to look at a human rights institute or a human rights academy kind of thing, where we can offer various courses in areas of human rights, where some of the issues you dealt with in the program would be dealt with in a longer, larger, more in-depth way. Because what we gave you was appetizers, and in each one of those subject areas you could spend a whole course just doing that one area. So that's an idea, whether for long term. But I really believe that we kind of went into this with just a recognition we had to do it, and we went in it sometimes just designing the program took months, because of many iterations between our staff to try to figure out what to do, and to also include new areas that we felt were challenges to human rights, such as climate change, for example, climate justice, the area of artificial intelligence, business and rights, in terms of areas like ILO, workers' rights, food security, etc., that these were all important areas that we were adding to the human rights framework that the world, not only Guyana, but the world would have to be addressing. And so those topics kind of brought a reality into the concepts that you were being exposed to.
Caribbean Airlines Limited CAL on Sunday started its new direct flight between Ogle Airport, Guyana and Paramaribo, Suriname. Passengers can benefit from the direct flight twice weekly, that is, on Sundays and Fridays. The newsroom's Jeremy Jagroup was at the ribbon cutting ceremony and on the inaugural flight and captured these scenes.
Caribbean Airlines has deep roots in Guyana, and over the years, we have not only grown our presence, but also strengthened our commitment to serving the people of this country. Guyana is one of our most important markets, and we've worked hard to expand both our passenger and cargo services here.
The fact that we have now this enhanced connectivity that between our two countries will further strengthen our ties, our cultural and economic ties, our bonds in family bonds, people to people, and indeed tourism and trade.
As the countdown begins to the highly anticipated Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo set for February 18 to the 21st, 2025, excitement is reaching a fever pitch. The 2025 edition promises to be a transformative event that emphasizes inclusion across various sectors, ensuring that all stakeholders, from policymakers to youth, have a voice in the future of Guyana's energy landscape.
The Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo is gearing up to be one of its most impactful editions to date. For the 2025 edition, we expect to have over 7,000 attendees, over 180 booths, and those booths will feature the creme de la creme of the industries taking part in Guyana and fueling Guyana's economic development. So we're excited about the preparations and how that's coming along. We're nearly sold out on our booths, and there are just limited spaces available. So 2025 is going to be a very important year for Guyana. It's going to be the year we will host our general and regional elections. And so the investment community is excited to hear what are the policy decisions that will be laid out for 2025 and the next 5 years after that. This is going to be the year where Guyana will start the yellowtail development, and that is going to take us beyond 800,000 barrels of oil per day. And that is significant because there's a whole host of procurement and development opportunities that come with that kind of increase in production. And so where is the country going to go? What are the opportunities for collaboration? What are the opportunities for investment, procurement? All those will be key talking points at 2025. So from a knowledge sharing perspective and from a thought leadership perspective, 2025 is going to be a major year for us. I'm glad that you asked that question. There's a space for everyone at the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo. If you are a small company and you are looking to maximize your exposure, this is the perfect place to be because it offers you the opportunity to speed date with 180 companies, and not just those that would be considered your peers, but companies that are part of the energy supply chain and companies that are part and parcel of supporting Guyana's economic development. So there isn't any other opportunity that you will find this kind of nuanced opportunity to engage with companies and to increase your brand awareness. So I think it's going to be one of the most exciting conferences for 2025. I am so excited that you brought that perspective to the discussion because youth involvement is part and parcel of one of the key objectives of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo, and that is ensuring that all stakeholders, not just those in the boardrooms, but those in the classrooms, feel heard and their opinions are brought into the entire scope of our discussion at the national level. And it's because of this reason that we have launched our first essay competition, and I'm so excited about it.
Chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Kumal Singh, recently urged businesses to develop proper corporate governance structures and prioritize getting the necessary certifications. At a PSC Local Content Summit at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown, he stressed that these elements are essential for growth and access to finance and represent basic fundamental standards that any business should strive to meet. He spoke at an event that was designed to gather innovative ideas from businesses on how to advance local content, particularly within the rapidly expanding oil and gas sector.
Many of us in the old days never used to focus a lot on corporate governance and certification. But in the environment that we operate in today, especially in the oil and gas sector, this is very, very critical for us as companies. I'm very happy to say that many companies we have seen over the years, members of the private sector, have achieved ISO certification, and some of them are continuing to do so. We want to implore on most of you guys in here today to make sure you get your company certified, make sure you have proper audited financial statements, make sure you have proper accounting standards within your organization, environmental standards. These are very critical components when you especially go into bank to look for financing. A lot of companies continue to complain about access to finance, but when you look at some of them very carefully, they lack some of these same things that I just mentioned. Very important. The private sector will continue to work with our members and non-members to make sure that we achieve these basic fundamental standards that is so important, not just for access to finance, but also to get into the oil and gas sector.
A night of music held to celebrate the iconic Dave Martins. This and more stories when the newsroom returns. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. For many nations, access to clean, reliable, and sustainable water sources remain a profound challenge. And while efforts are made to increase reliable access to water, Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell on Monday said it is forecast that with climate change, the Caribbean is likely to face increased risk and water security, a more pressing challenge. Crowell delivered the opening address at the Japan-CARICOM Friendship Year event, which highlights the cooperation within the Caribbean water sector.
Water, as we say, is the lifeblood of our planet, and indeed, our own lives. In the Caribbean, where communities depend on consistent water supplies for agriculture, public health, tourism, and overall economic development, the growing impacts of climate change, such as the rising sea levels, intensified storms, and prolonged droughts, only amplify these challenges. Recognizing this, CARICOM nations have long prioritized water resilience, but true progress is only possible with collaborative partnerships. Japan's long-standing friendship with the Caribbean region has laid the groundwork for remarkable cooperation. As an island nation, it understands the unique vulnerabilities and resilience required of countries encircled by water. Through our partnership, Japan has brought not only technological expertise, but a spirit of solidarity grounded in mutual respect and shared interests. In recent years, Japan has offered technical assistance, capacity building, and innovative solutions to support CARICOM's water management goals. Our shared initiatives have emphasized the protection and sustainable use of water resources, climate resilience, and efficient delivery of water services. Objectives that are essential for both the immediate needs and long-term development. But Japan's technological expertise has empowered Caribbean nations to strengthen their water resource management practices. It has enhanced our disaster resilience. It has built a strong foundation for sustainable water practices and supported initiatives to protect natural water sources, rehabilitate ecosystems, and implement strict environmental safeguards. Together, we are fostering the growth of resilient ecosystems that support sustainable water supplies for the future.
The Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change government had racked up debts across the country and demoted office with millions owed to local service providers. Even now, 4 years later, the incumbent People's Progressive Party Civic is still trying to clear the massive backlog. The Vice President, Dr. Bartica, shared at his most recent press conference at Freedom House in Georgetown.
I met a young Afro-Guyanese mechanic, and he said to me, for 4 years, I'm looking out after the vehicles, of the police vehicles. There are 150 vehicles I fixed. Here's a list of all of them. And I've now received my payment. And he's pushed around all the time. And every year we budget so that they can clear backlog in payment. We're even clearing backlogs in payment. We can't find the records from APNU period. They owe a ton of people. A ton of people. The people who were picking up the dead from the parlors, and these are people who are sympathetic to APNU. We now have to end up paying them because they know when the police find someone, etc., they would say to the parlor, pick them up, we don't know who the person is, and then they were processing them. They don't get paid. A ton of people around the country. And so if you look at, we are trying to find a way to clear the backlog for those people. Like what APNU did just in the last year before election in the health sector. They hired about 400 or 500 persons in the first month to work for elections, right? Basically to say, oh, you're getting jobs, and never paid them. We ended up paying them in September or October of the year for the whole year that they work. They didn't even pay these people.
The elections fraud trial, which has long been overshadowed by delays, is now set for a restart before Chief Magistrate Acting Faith McGusty following a successful transfer of the matter. Vice President Dr. Bartica said at his last press conference at Freedom House in Georgetown that the governing People's Progressive Party was questioning the slot in moving the trial forward 4 years later. He said the party is worried about the compromising of evidence and that the judiciary continues to get away with not saying anything.
We are asked for explanations over which we have no control. We, as an executive, we have evidence supported by a COI of an attempt and publicly known to everyone that there was an attempt by individuals to steal the elections contrary to law. They're engaged in criminal acts. We just want to get on with the trial so that they have their day in court, they can feel the defense. We're now responsible for that when we're asked now about the slot and our concerns. Yes, I'm worried about the compromising of the evidence, etc. But the judiciary gets away with not saying anything. Who is in charge? And I spoke to the Attorney General. He needs to speak about these matters. They tiptoe around all of these matters. Needs to speak about them publicly. I shouldn't have to, because he is defending the interests of the taxpayers of this country and also fairness in the system. How come these cases are just languishing all the time? Major cases of these nature. They're just languishing in the system.
The Dave Martin's Is We Own musical and visual journey was held at the Orchard Conference Center last weekend. It was done in tribute to Guyanese cultural icon Dave Martin's, who passed away earlier this year. In this video, we bring you a cover of Martin's iconic Is We Own, a song that invokes much patriotism and that has become an enduring part of efforts to protect Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Struggling, we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. Why? Cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice bread, not one chorus, not a bit of grass. Yeah! Hey, this land is our land now. We're gonna make it somehow, and we will bend like a bow, but never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere, make no mistake. Come on! We ain't giving up the mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up the river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice bread, not one chorus, not a bit of grass.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bridge reports along with sport news. That's it for me, Kurt Campbell. Take care.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some cricket news. The Guyana Cricket Board has announced that all-rounder Kevin Sinclair will no longer participate in the ongoing Regional Super 50 tournament in Trinidad and Tobago. All-rounder Junior Sinclair will replace Kevin in the Guyana Harpy Eagles squad. Junior will be available for Tuesday's match against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. In the 3 matches thus far in the Super 50, Kevin has made 14 runs and taken 3 wickets. He made 14 from 16 balls against the Windward Islands Volcanoes and took 2 for 66 from 10 overs in the same match. He did not bat in a rained-out contest against the combined campuses and colleges and was dismissed without a score against Barbados Pride. He then took 1 for 26 from 10 overs in the same match. The Guyana Harpy Eagles are winless after 3 matches. The Guyana Cricket Board did not disclose specifics for Kevin's departure, but did say it resulted from an internal report. In 2023, the organizers of the Caribbean Premier League also announced that Kevin left the Guyana Amazon Warriors squad for personal reasons. Cycling news now. Guyanese Briton John won bronze in the grueling men's elite road race at the Caribbean Elite and Under-23 Cycling Championship in Guyana on Sunday. Competing on the Heroes Highway, John became just the 4th Guyanese since 2001 to ever make the podium at the Senior Caribbean Championship. He finished behind Corey Williams of Belize and Jesus Cespedes of the Dominican Republic in a hotly contested sprint finish. The last Guyanese to medal at the championship was Tony Simon, who copped bronze in the road race in Barbados in 2009. Prior to that, Marlon Fishy Williams won Guyana's only gold at the prestigious event in the road race in St. Lucia in 2004, while 3 years earlier in Aruba, Dwayne Gibbs took bronze in the individual time trial. So I'm here with Briton John, and he just won bronze medal in the individual road race at the Senior Caribbean Championship here on the Heroes Highway in Georgetown. Briton, before we talk about the actual race, just describe the emotion immediately after that race. So you were crying.
Yeah, it was a bit emotional because, you know, I really wanted to win, and I just didn't, you know, I just missed out by like 2 bike lengths. Yeah. So yeah, I was really sad about it, but by the end of the day, the main thing, you know, a podium. So yeah, I'm just glad I, you know, made it.
Yeah. The last time a Guyanese got on the podium here in the Senior Caribbean Championship was 2009, 15 years ago. You were nowhere close to cycling. What does this achievement mean for you?
Yeah, it's a big achievement, but you know, I really, really needed the win because it's my hometown, and it's always sad when you lose in your own home. So yeah, third is alright, but I come for a win. So yeah.
With 4 laps to go, you took a lead. What was the strategy from then on?
Oh yeah, I tried to hit them because I see the guys was hurting, but they were so strong. They keep coming back, and yeah, I was short a little bit, but yeah, I tried.
Yeah. I'm coming towards the end there now. You all were in a bunch. What was the strategy coming towards the home stretch?
Well, the breakaway ended up cutting us, and then, you know, it eventually come down to a sprint home. So I was like, all right, I position myself good, and maybe if I had legs, I was going to win the sprint. But I came around the turn like in 4th position, and the guy from Belize, he was just fast. When he take off, there ain't much I couldn't do. So yeah.
And where would you rank this achievement? Right up there?
Yeah. Sorry. Not bad.
And every time you got wrong here, you know, the Guyanese supporters were behind you. How much did that motivate you?
It was a big motivation, you know. I'm just happy everybody came out. My pops, my mom, my brother, everybody came, you know. All the fans, it was nice, you know. Yeah. Police doing a good job, so yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
What's next for you now?
Well, this was my last race for the year, so hopefully, you know, I'm going to rest for a little bit, and then next year I'll come out really strong. And
couldn't ask for a better way to end the year, though, on the podium.
Yeah. Couldn't ask for a better way. Yeah.
Now, Guyanese Denise Jeffrey may not have made the podium in the women's elite road race of the Senior Caribbean Cycling Championship on Sunday, but she certainly won hearts on the Heroes Highway in Guyana. Old enough to be the mother of her competitors, the majority of whom were under-23 elite riders, Jeffrey, aged 57, displayed great mental fortitude, braving the searing midday and early afternoon heat to complete the grueling 4-lap race, which covered approximately 42 miles. Jeffrey, a former national squash player, fell behind the peloton earlier in the race, but that was no deterrent for the tough Guyanese woman who, with very little preparation, kept pedaling like her life depended on it. With her son Christian on a motorcycle behind her throughout, Denise pushed her boundaries and got the admiration of every single spectator who gathered on the sidelines. Her family, including husband Kevin, daughters Kimberly and Kayla, brother Dwayne Shuffler, and sisters Kathy and Alana, and close friends kept cheering Denise on, whose ultimate aim was to finish the race and keep the golden arrowhead flying high. That she did, making her mark on debut at the Caribbean Championship.
The words can't explain. There's something about when I put on this uniform, it gives me goosebumps. The pride that I feel is amazing. Yeah.
What was the preparation like coming into this championship?
Unfortunately for me, I didn't get to prepare as I should because it was a little late, with the notice, but I did the best I could. And the main thing was to finish the race.
Yeah. Reflect on today because, you were way behind the pack after the very first lap. What was going through your mind at that point?
What am I doing? No, but I just kept saying, you got to finish, These are all young girls, they could probably all be my children, but you know what? They're amazing riders, and it was an honor to be among. I wasn't very close, but, to be riding with them.
You showed tremendous mental toughness here today to be out here in the hot sun and be able to complete those laps. At any point you felt like, I'm going to give up?
No.
What kept pushing you?
Flying that golden arrowhead, that's what keeps me going all the time. Just representing my country. Yeah.
You did well for Guyana as well in squash. How much those fighting qualities you brought to the forefront here today?
Oh, I had to use every little thing from past experience, and just fight all the way.
Right.
Because I do have tremendous support from not only my husband and coach, but every single one of the fellas from whichever team they're on. They always encourage me and push me, so this is for them too.
Football news now. The Courts Optical Pee Wee Trophy is heading to Region 1 as Santa Rosa Primary became the first team from the hinterland to win the Under-11 Schools Football Championship. Their thrilling triumph was achieved on Saturday evening when they edged the determined and talented unit from Marion Academy.
Michael Harris scored a decisive goal in the 9 minutes of extra time, sending shockwaves of cheers from parents and other supporters at the Ministry of Education ground on Christfest Avenue. The young lads continued a strong showing by hinterland teams in recent tournaments organized by the Petra Group, as their seniors, Santa Rosa Secondary, had won the Milo Under-18 tournament in 2023. In the third place playoffs, St. Pius Primary edged past St. John the Baptist from Bartica 3-2. Javante Wright, Dante Colasar, and Emmanuel Fort scored for St. Pius, while Kareem Welcome and Christian Calenda netted for St. John the Baptist. The tournament was a showcase of young talented players like Javante Wright, Dante Colasar, Kareem Welcome emerging as top performers. Santa Rosa's Lyndon James was named the MVP and the best goalkeeper, while their coach, Earl Richards, was recognized as the best in the tournament.
We've just witnessed one of the most exhilarating finals in the history of Petra football. So let's give a round of applause to both Marion Academy and Santa Rosa. I just hope that structures can be put in place for the development of these youngsters going forward on the field and off the field, and hopefully we at Petra can contribute to that.
The tournament in its 11th year was approved by the Ministry of Education and supported by the National Sports Commission, Standard Trillion MVP Sports, and Stolen Products Limited.
And the Guyana Football Federation is gearing up for a busy period for its youth national teams, with the under-17 boys and girls teams set to compete in international tournaments. Let's find out more in this report.
The under-17 teams will face off against their Suriname counterparts in a series of friendlies in November, building on a successive bilateral agreement established last year. This series will provide a valuable international experience for the young players. In early 2025, both the under-17 boys and girl teams will participate in CONCACAF qualifiers with a goal of advancing to the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. The Under-20 women's team will also compete in the CONCACAF Under-20 women's qualifiers and championships. In a release to the media, the GFF indicated that they have implemented a rigorous training schedule for all three teams to prepare for these crucial competitions. The technical staff is focusing on developing the players' technical skills, tactical awareness, and physical fitness. The Federation further added that this is also committed to expanding its player pool by scouting talent from across the country, including the hinterland regions.
Boxing news. In an effort to honor his legacy following his unexpected passing, the Guyana Boxing Association will stage the inaugural Terence Poole Memorial International Boxing Championship in October 2025. The event, which will be an annual affair and feature participation from several Caribbean nations, will be open to all categories and weight divisions. The technical director Poole unexpectedly passed away on October 2nd at the age of 60. According to reports, Poole complained of feeling unwell following the conclusion of his routine morning jog. He was subsequently rushed to hospital following difficulty breathing and unfortunately passed away, throwing the fraternity into a state of mourning. The GBA president, Steve Ninval, said Poole's legacy and contribution to boxing are unquestionable. According to Ninval, Poole was an exceptional administrator who was able to provide the necessary support and guidance to the community given his experience, overall knowledge, and love for the sport. He conceded that administrators of Poole's ilk are hard to find in a sports fraternity, which lends further credence to the importance that he had within the sport of boxing. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you back here tomorrow.